Hi CCH family, it's Avery and I'm back for another Devo. So today I just wanted to share a bit about just being different from the world. And so I wanted to start in 1 Samuel chapter 8 verses 4 and 5. So I'm going to go ahead and read those. Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, "Look, you are old and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations." And some context is so in that time, Samuel was the last judge, and the people were just like, give us a super cool king, even though they had Samuel, he was so in stride with the Lord and being led by the Lord, so they didn't really need anyone else. And like the Lord specifically made them to not have it because he wanted them to be different. They at the end of verse 5, it's like all the nations, they wanted to be like everyone else. And they already had everything perfect, but Samuel's sons weren't walking the same as him, so they were kind of pointing out those flaws and trying to use that to get them their king and what they wanted or thought they wanted. So the Lord's trying his hardest to set his people apart and just make them different, but they thought they knew best. So they got what they wanted, and Saul, who becomes king, he starts in good and in stride with the Lord, yet quickly falls, and he kind of goes crazy. One tiny good factor I saw in just trusting God's ways, that he always knows best. Later in 1 Samuel, we see Saul obsessing over David, plotting to take his throne, as if that was David's motive or anything. Saul was going insane. Just David, I think one time was just playing the harp for him, and Saul just was like, "Oh, he's here to kill me and take my throne," when he's like, doo. So I like how he just could be masked by his own selfishness and not kind of look at the obvious and lose his obviousness, but so in that moment he throws a spear at David and tries to kill him, hello. So crazy. And just Saul kind of slowly goes lower and lower and lower and crazier. He goes so crazy that he turns away from so many good people, his son Jonathan. That was really sad. He's just so sweet and so godly and so amazing. And if Saul were to be walking in God's ways, he would have taken his eyes off of himself and focused on Jesus. And it was just really sweet to take note of that, just to focus not on us, because we're to be different. And in that, when we focus on the Lord, we can. But when we're focusing on ourselves and giving into anger and crazy thoughts like this, we can throw spears at our kids, I guess. But what? It's just so sweet that the Lord was just kind of gave me that reminder, hey, keep your eyes on Jesus, because I haven't really been doing a very good job at that recently, and the Lord was gracious enough to bring that to my attention. So it's oh, it was a really cool lesson, but now I'm oh, now I'm sad but happy again. So that's really cute. And this applies to us today. We are to walk in his commandment of love because he tells us to, and the Lord knows best in every situation. But then to bring everything into perspective, it's wait, why am I doing all this again, And so we are different, and the people on the outside can see that difference as kind of the goal, but not to make us look good, no, but to make them ask, what's different about them? And, and then kind of lead to, who's the God they serve? Why, what do they have that I don't, And how can I serve him too, kind of is the hope. But that's exactly how I was saved, so that's really cool, and I'm sure many others were saved that way. But God's ways win every time. Sometimes in ways we may not understand, but hey, when do we actually ever fully understand God? So his ways are so much higher. And with that, I wanted to encourage anyone out there struggling to fight the flesh and struggling to go against the current. You got this, because it'll shine more for the light of Jesus. And anything for Jesus is pretty cool. So with that, I want to thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.